It's time to set up my reading journal for the month of May. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Tracy and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. So yeah, we are going to be back in my reading journal setting up for the month of May. We are going to be in my 8x8 Archer and Olive notebook, which I believe this is now available as part of their everyday collection. I will have my affiliate link and discount code down in the description box if you want to pick up anything from Archer and Olive. I went with an Alice in Wonderland theme this year that I'm going to try to stick with throughout the entirety of 2026. If you missed any of my reading journal setups, I will have the link to my reading journal playlist in the description box as well. Plus, it will show up at the end of the video in the cards. So let's talk about today's setup, or should I say, let's just talk about the month of May in general. So the month of May, I anticipate being a very, very busy month. I have a vacation coming up that I'm prepping for. And you know, when you have travel coming up, it's like everything is like amplified tenfold. You have so much more to do when it comes to work. You have so much more to do when it comes to life. So I'm hoping I can still read a lot, but we'll see. My reading definitely has gone down a little bit. I think I read like 8 or 9 books like at the beginning of the year, like in January. And then it's like slowly started going down. I think I'm at like 3 or 4 books so far for April. And they haven't been very long, and one of them was an audiobook. So that tells you how my reading's going. It's still going, and I'm very happy about that because there was a time when I was reading no books. So I am not mad about it, but it just hasn't been as much as I read at the beginning of the year. With that said, just looking at my schedule and kind of, you know, gauging what my reading mood may be based on what it has been. I think I am going to skip doing a monthly reading challenge for the month of May. So for like the month of April, I did a William Academy. For the month of March, I did the Realmathon. So I like to do reading challenges each month, but I'm going to skip it for the month of May. However, if you're looking for a reading challenge, then definitely check out Joshi Corinne. She has a reading challenge, which is the Goober one for May. I can't remember the exact title of the monthly one. She also has an annual one. That one I'm still doing. But yeah, definitely check that out. It's a very easy reading challenge with a lot of fun prompts, and you earn points and things like that. I love reading challenges. It's just with me having so many annual challenges that I do, that's enough prompts anyway to kind of get my TBR list going. I'm like, I'm just going to pause the whole monthly ones for now. So yeah, with that said, let's talk about the decor because this is mainly going to be decorating, but I will chat about my TBR with you guys as well as we start talking about those challenges and stuff like that. So like I said, this is an Alice in Wonderland theme. A lot of the artwork and things that I have used, at least for my monthly spreads, has come from Creative Fabrica. It is a site that you pay like a monthly subscription or annual subscription for. It's fairly cheap, and then you can use clip art from that site. So that's what I got this from, and then I just put it into my Cricut design space and cut it and print it and cut it on sticker paper. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. You can see it's not too many actual images here because with me not doing a reading challenge, I'm going to see if I can put everything that I've been capturing on to 4 pages. I really need 5 because usually the reading challenge is the 6th page. But we're going to see if we can do it on 4, which is really 3 because I still want a cover page that doesn't have anything else on it. So yeah, we're going to try to see if, you know, if I can make that work. That's the fun of these videos, trying to see if that can work. It's simple as it's going to be, and just me trying to condense it is going to be the challenge. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put this huge sticker, which I put May on top of that, in my Cricut design space. And then what I did is I just grouped these two together so it would stay together when I went to go cut it. And I did add an offset to the May as well, so that way it had the white border on it. So I mentioned that this entire book is Alice in Wonderland themed. And I do think it's going to be super cool at the end of the year to flip through and see everything with like an Alice in Wonderland themed spread. However, now that we are 5 months in and I did all my initial pages and all my challenge pages and the Alice in Wonderland themed, and then I've done January through April, I will say it's getting harder to find like unique themes within Alice in Wonderland. I, have tried to kind of play on some of the like themes and some of the like major kind of, I don't know, icons within Alice in Wonderland, like, the Mad Hatter, like the top hat, teacups, and stuff like that. But as far as like, just trying to find some simple artwork to slap on the page and call it done, it's becoming trickier and trickier. I find a lot of the clip art and stickers and things that I find online all seem to be very, very similar. And I want to have things look a little different each month. So that is part that's been kind of tricky for me. The other thing is I don't really want to buy anything else now that I have like a Creative Fabrica membership for the year. I'd rather use that resource. I'd rather use some of the things that I already have purchased in the past. So that also is making things difficult. But we're going to keep trying because, like I said, I think it's going to be really, really cool in the end. So you did see me add some washi tape to the edges of the page. I went with the script washi because I felt like it needed something on the edges. That's probably just a me thing, and you guys are probably like, you really didn't need it. But I went with the script because it doesn't really compete too much with the actual stickers, but it adds a little something there. And then you saw where I decided to fold over the big tree sticker between the two pages instead of cutting it in half. And I did get lucky because, it worked out perfectly. I was worried that I either wasn't going to line it up all the way to the edge of the page, so there would have been like a weird fold, or either it would have puckered up on me, but it did work out. All right, so let's start talking about my TBR because that's probably something of interest to some of you. So usually when I set up my TBR, as far as in this journal, I'm talking about the journal design, I have been doing like a bookshelf, and then on the spines of the books, I'll write the book title for what I want to read. This month, I wanted to change things up. And again, I'm trying to use some supplies that I already have, and especially things that I might not use otherwise. So I got the Fiction and Floral sticker book from Live Love Posh about a month and 2 months now ago, and they have this like reading challenge in the back, and there's little boxes that have the little prompts inside. I am not going to do those prompts. I'm not going to do that challenge, but I like that they have a rating system at the very bottom. And I'm like, this will be kind of cool. I can write the book that I want to read, and then if I read it, big if, then I could color in the stars, and that would indicate that I read it. So that's what I decided to do. You can see me switching out one of the boxes here. That's because it was a 2-line prompt instead of a 1-line prompt. And like I said, I'm not using these prompts. I'm going to be covering it up. And I figured 1 line was easier than 2. I did go through the book. There was like 4 different colors. And I went with the gray and the tan because I felt like it matched just a little bit better. The other thing that I did here, that I fortunately noticed it as I was placing these little header stickers over top of the prompts, is I had 6 boxes. And there's only really 5 annual challenges that I'm doing. There technically is a Romantasy bingo that I'm doing, but I'm not actively trying to read certain books to fulfill the prompts because I mainly read fantasy and romantasy. What I'm going to do is at the midway point in the year, I'm going to go through all of the books that I've read since January and fill in the bingo board at that time. So I'm not counting that in like my TBR list. So technically there's only 5 challenges that I'm trying to specifically read books for. So I did remove that. All right, so now let's start talking about books. All right, so the first challenge we'll talk about is the Adventures in Aldea, or the Year in Aldea Readathon Challenge. It's part of the Magical Readathon, which is a really cool kind of character. You build your character. There's like stories. You take courses. I did the readathon. There was a monthly readathon for the Magical Readathon in April that I am still trying to complete. But the year in Aldea, I've been doing okay with. I did not finish April's prompt, and I'm not going to because it was like river in the title, and just nothing really spoke to me that had the word river in the title. So for the month of May, my prompt is a book and a series, and the series has to be 3 or plus books long. And there's a lot of those. Every book I read is part of a series. But as I was looking for books that were already on my Kindle, either from the library or through Kindle Unlimited, I found a series that I put on there, and I don't even know when, was the Dark Blood Prison series by G.K. DeRosa. By the way, I'm going to be talking about this TBR well into all of the other stuff, so don't worry, I talk slow. Or sometimes I talk fast. But yeah, so this series sounded intriguing, but what was even more intriguing is the actual page count is like around 300. So I should be able to fly through these books, which is something I'm looking forward to, because if I really enjoy it, then it might be a series I can finish, and it might be a good series to finish when I'm on vacation. But I want to read the first book now to see if it's worthwhile to do that. So the first book is called Demon on a Dime. And it says, this is according to Google, it follows Azara, a half-demon sentenced to a brutal supernatural prison for a crime she doesn't remember, where she must navigate deadly magical inmates, a triad of controlling brothers, and her own emerging powers. It is YA new adult paranormal romance. So I feel like it could be pretty interesting, and it might be a little different than some of the other things that I'm reading. Again, that page count is what really drew me in. The alternative is a series that has been on my TBR for a while, and that is Lady of Darkness. But for some reason, I'm hesitant to start that. So I think I'm going to read this one. I think it'll be a nice break from some of the other books that I plan to read. So I am now, just for the purposes of the journaling, I am now going to be creating my calendar, which is my days read calendar. And then after that, I will start creating my stats page. But we're going to continue on talking about my TBR. So the next challenge that I'm going to talk about is the Buzzword Reading Challenge. And the prompt for the month of May is the word make, but it can also be like any tense of the word make. So it could be made, M-A-D-E, or making, or what have you. I had absolutely no idea what book to pick for this. So I went to Storygraph and I looked at the challenge message board to kind of find something that spoke to me. And honestly, I just like looked at the titles and the covers that people were suggesting. And then I saw The Death Made Prince by Lisette Marshall. And this kind of seemed interesting just with the title alone. And I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. So it says it's a 2025 Dark Enemies to Lovers fantasy romance featuring Thraga, a rune witch sentenced to death who pairs with Durlane, I'm probably saying all the names wrong, a sarcastic necromancer fire mage prince. It's an 18+ slow burn featuring a perilous quest, political intrigue, and morally gray characters as they navigate a Norse-inspired world. I have no idea what half of that stuff means, but hey, it's worth a try. So we'll try that one out. I have not been doing very good with the buzzword challenge. So I always get nervous when I'm picking new ones because right now I'm like 2 for 4. So hopefully this one is better than that kind of confusing little synopsis. So let's move on from that one and go into the buzzword cover challenge, which I have been very successful at. I'm like 4 for 4. So for the month of May, it is a frame around the cover. And there are a lot of books that had some sort of frame around the cover. And this one book has been on my radar for a few months now. It has been, I haven't put it in my journal TBR, but it has been on my Kindle. So it has been kind of like a it has been a TBR of sorts. And it's Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Powell. And it's a part of a trilogy. It's the first book in a trilogy. And it's enemies to lovers, slow burn romance between a grieving Fey warrior and a human knight as they are forced to compete in a deadly magical trial to save their people. The story combines high-stake action, dark magic, and betrayal with rich world building, appealing to fans of Throne of Glass and The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So this includes everything that I absolutely love. I love a good trial. I love a good slow burn. So I'm really excited to read this one. So I hope it starts out strong because this would definitely be one that I will probably see myself actually getting to this month. Okay, so let's keep going and talk about the Year of Goober. So the Year of Goober is actually a really easy prompt this month. So you get 2 prompts. So the prompt I'm going to do is a genre blend. Guess what, y'all? Romantasy is a genre blend between romance and fantasy. So there we go. Yay. And I am finally going to read Direbound. I say finally going to read Direbound, but the second book in the series actually comes out in the month of May, so it's probably really good timing. So this one, it is Direbound by Sable Sorensen, and it is an enemies to lovers, forced proximity, touch her and die trope. I don't really love that. Set in a world where humans bond with dire wolves to fight in deadly trials. Say no more. I love me a good trial. I don't really know what a dire wolf is. I guess it's a wolf. But I don't really know dire wolves. So yeah. It says the story follows Marin Cooper, a commoner who joins the army to save her kidnapped sister, forcing her into brutal bonding trials where she must bond with a feral dire wolf and navigate dangerous relationships with her instructor and the crown prince. So yeah, it says it's kind of like a comparison to Fourth Wing and Hunger Games. So yeah, I think that sounds pretty cool. Definitely, this one is probably going to be one of my first reads of the month. That way, if I really enjoy it, I can go ahead and read the second one, which comes out on May 5th. Okay, so I think we're up to finally, which is going to be my reading challenge and what I created, which is my Monopoly board or Bookopoly board. And I already rolled the die so that way I can figure out what my challenge would be. And when I landed on a really good one, audiobook. So I'm just going to finish the Belladonna series. I couldn't think of it. I drew a blank. And it is Wisteria. And this I have been listening to on audiobook, even though I own the physical copies of all 3 of the books. I've been listening to it on audiobook. It's okay. I think it's a good 3.5 star kind of series for me, but it's still somewhat enjoyable. It's just not really memorable to me. And it is YA, so it reads YA. I don't really know what I can say. I can't really read you the synopsis for Wisteria, but I would just say like Belladonna, she basically, she is nervous about like being around people because when she's around people, they die. That's kind of the general synopsis of our main character. And then her friend, who most people can't see, is Death. That's the name, Death. Grim Reaper, Death. So yeah, that's like the general synopsis of the story. It kind of reads like Bridgerton, like in that kind of world too. So it's okay. It's fun. Like I said, definitely not going to be more than a 3.5 star. I wouldn't say for this final book, considering how the first 2 went, but I'm curious to see how the series is going to end. So I've been wanting to read it anyway. And the audiobook was available at my library when I last checked. So hopefully it'll be available when I'm ready to read it in May. So that is my TBR. I do kind of quickly want to mention that I did add some new releases to those, to that page too, because there are 3 books that I am kind of keeping an eye on. Like I mentioned, Furybound, which is the follow-up to Direbound, that releases on the 5th. Then it was Broken Dove, which releases on the 12th. That is the follow-up to Silver Elite. That one I do not believe is available on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm thinking it might be kind of difficult for me to get that from my library in the month of May, which is why I did not put that into my TBR. And then on the 25th, Hell Runner, which is the follow-up to Heaven Breaker, which I surprisingly enjoyed. It's more sci-fi, but it's still fantasy element. Yeah, so that one I think might be a Kindle Unlimited book. If it is, I might try to read it. Probably not. It'll probably be something later on this summer. All right, so that is my TBR. Getting back to what I'm actually doing on camera, I am just kind of doing the finishing touches to these last 2 pages. The page that I'm working on right now is the page where I'm going to put some book covers in at the end of the month for my favorite read, my least favorite read, which more so isn't least favorite. It's more like sometimes it could just be a disappointing read. So that might change up based on what I actually read. The fastest read and the slowest read, that doesn't have to do with pages. That has to do with how quick I read it or how slow I read it. And then an honorable mention, and then my most anticipated book, which right now I'm thinking my most anticipated book might be Direbound. We'll see. Smoke and Scars sounded really good, but maybe Direbound. So yeah, I'll have to go ahead and decide that before I read because I can't pick most anticipated after I start reading. So yeah, that's it. And then like I left that other page blank because I might do something at the end of the month, like a collage or maybe just general journaling about my month in reading. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I'm just going to add some washi to all of the other pages. Yes, I'm doing it after all the stickers are down, but it also causes me to use less washi because it would have been a lot of washi used if I had to run it down the entire length of the page. So even though it's more difficult, I did save my washi. And this is a hot commodity washi that is not very cheap. All right, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and do a final flip through and wrap this video up. All right, guys, there we go. I love how this turned out. For some reason, especially compared to a lot of the previous months where a lot of the white was covered. I mean, last month I used full page stickers. This feels a lot simpler to me. Plus the stickers were larger, so it felt like it was a lot less stickers, but they still cover up the space really, really well. So I'm really liking that. So like I said, I did change this up. This is how I used to do, or this is how I did my TBR January through April. I just drew some bookshelves with some books on it, and then I put the book that I wanted to read along with the challenge or the readathon in the spine, and then I colored it in after I read it. So I'm changing things up this month. I'm going to color in the rating. That's how I'm going to know that I read it. If for some reason I don't read this one and I like do another one, I will probably write it in a different color, just so that way I would know, and then I would just like maybe just do like a subtle line through it so you can still see it, because I do want to capture the books that I read for that challenge, even though they'll be here and stuff as well. I still want it here. And then I did add the new releases this month because there are a couple that I was really kind of anticipating. And then depending upon how Direbound goes, I might be anticipating that one as well. So yeah, this one changed up a little bit. I do like the way the stickers looks. I can't figure out which way I like better as far as the bookshelf or the stickers. I feel like this actually looks a little less busy, or it competes a little less with the artwork. So that's one thing. So maybe I'll just alternate between the two based on whatever stickers I'm using. This setup is pretty much same old, same old. I did not do a very good job of spacing out of the circles, so that is the reason why it's a little off, but it's fine. Once I start filling this in, it'll look fine. But that is the reason why I drew the boxes around the actual pie charts, because I did not do that in any of the previous months. I just do it like this. But you can see how I'm going to write the key over here, so it doesn't need that much space. I am going to do titles. That's the reason why I highlighted that. But I did this last month. Yeah, and I like the way that looks. So that's probably going to be my new thing is highlighting the category titles. But yeah, so this is the same as is this. The only difference is because I'm not doing a challenge, this is now going to be more similar to my January when I just did a fun collage, or maybe I'll do something different. But this is what I did for January. I picked a few books, did collages of them, and went from there. Oh, I also did it for February. But then you know, like last month, I haven't filled this in because we're still in April, but I have a page for the equinox, the spring equinox. So there we go, guys. I think it turned out really, really cute. I hope you did as well. Hopefully it gave you some ideas, or maybe you're just here to listen to my TBR. So yeah, I am thinking I'm a little bit behind on doing, I shouldn't say I'm a little behind. There are a few book reviews that I want to do more elaborate spreads for in my book review journal. So I do think I'm going to do that at some point this month. I also need to catch up on my series tracker. I don't have any completed series that I need to review, but I need to add some to the charts and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do another reading journal video in the month of May, if not month of May, early June, where I can like take you through my decorative process for some book reviews and maybe update some of my other journals and things like that. So that means if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as checking out some of my other videos, you know, while you're at it. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, press that like button. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I so appreciate it. And with that said, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.